all, and welcome to the sort of early summer tour down south of Peterborough, south of everywhere. We are down somewhere in Hampshire and we're at Noar Hill, however you pronounce it, a site of some repute, and I'm told it looks like Barnack Hills and Holes on steroids, so it should be interesting. Supposedly plenty of orchids here. There's one in particular that I'm after. It's on my bucket list and I have everything crossed that I'm going to find it, but we'll take anything that comes our way. I'm very confident this should be a good site. As I say, it's got a good reputation. So Noar Hill, here we come. Well, there you go, there's a starter down there. Common Twayblade. Start low and work our way up, I think. But always good to see them in their prime nearly. I know I promised last time out there would be a trip to Bedford Purlieu at the weekend to find fly orchid and bird's nest orchid. Well, the trip took place, but there was no fly orchids for the second year running, and I couldn't find a bird's nest orchid either, so I didn't hang around. What I can promise you is we will find fly orchids and we will find bird's nest orchids on this tour in numbers, I think. So there's a bold statement, but I'm very confident of that. So no Bedford Purlieu video, but I hope to make up for it. Struggling to find a whole lot at the moment. Got to be patient. Something over there with a bit of colour on it. There you go, wasn't quite expecting that. That is a chalk fragrant orchid, or common fragrant orchid if you prefer. At least we found something. Oh, yep, looks good. There you go. I told you we'd find a fly orchid or more. There's another one. But the one I've come to see, and the one I've been looking for 6 or 7 years now and never found, and is right near the top of my all-time bucket list must-see orchid before I drop dead, is sitting about a foot to the right. Just bear with me. There it is, the wonderful green fly orchid, and I've wanted to see one of these for a long time. They keep popping up in photographs, but they're very, very rare, and yeah, I've missed them so many times, but I've got it. And that one, believe it or not, is a second green fly orchid. I knew there was supposed to be a couple of them. Brilliant. Took a long time to find these. Well worth it. Believe it or not, there's a third one. Somewhat tainted, but not the best of the three, but 3 green fly orchids within about 6 foot of one another is a bit special. Certainly no shortage of common Twayblades at Noar Hill. hundreds of them, absolutely hundreds of them. Whoa, that is one big hollow, slightly bigger than your average hills and holes at Barnack. Gotta get down there somehow. Short fragrant orchids, they're all growing on the steep slopes, so they're not easy to reach, but yeah, there's a good 20 or 30 on this bank, but I ain't gonna risk my life and limbs going any higher. Good to see. There's another one. This one at least is on the flat. Quite early. Well, I suppose we're further south. I think in Peterborough they're just threatening to come out, but haven't yet done so. But these are starting to emerge. Short fragrant orchid. Oh, what's that? Is that an early purple orchid? Surely not. Surely not. Just about hanging on, but why not? Add another one to the site, early purple orchid. A lovely place, some lovely views. That's it, I think, for Noar Hill. Wasn't as much here as I thought there would be. You know, numbers are very low. A lot of common Twayblades. Just a few short fragrant orchids, but there's a lot of them in bud, so there's going to be quite a few. Never saw any sign of common spotted coming out at all. Saw the one early purple. What else did we see? That's about it, apart from the fly orchids. But I have to confess, that's why I came here, because you know, on this tour there are 2, maybe 3 what I call bucket list orchids, and I've got to get them off my bucket list. They're orchids that I've been watching as they occasionally appear on social media and thought I've got to see them before I drop dead, and I'm going to try and do it on this tour. So that's a great start to see that green fly orchid, in fact 3 of them in close vicinity. I mean, that's a bit mind-blowing. So job done basically. I saw what I saw. I thought I'd see more, as I say, but it wasn't to be. But I'm absolutely overjoyed at seeing what I actually came here for, which is the green fly orchid. As it's quite a short video so far, I'm not going to end it. I'm going to roll on to the next site, which is just down the road, which is Chappetts Copse. And the reason I'm going there is because they've got the biggest collection of sword-leaved Helleborine in the country, 3,000 plus, and even a useless person like me is going to find one if there's 3,000 plus, and I've never seen one before, never seen a sword-leaved Helleborine. So it's the first time in many years I've seen an orchid that is a new one for me. So yeah, I'm going to race down the road and I will see you there in a few seconds, hopefully. Welcome to Chappetts Copse. Sword-leaved Helleborine, bird's nest orchids, we will see them both, I promise you. We better do anyway. There we go. Sword-leaved Helleborine, first time I've ever seen one. Very elegant creatures. Very pretty. Sword-leaved Helleborine by the dozen and more. I'm told there has been a handful, if that, of rare hybrids between the sword-leaved Helleborine and the white Helleborine here, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled for those. They're not easy to spot, but going to keep my eyes peeled for them, and a white Helleborine as well would be nice if we can find one. Certainly plenty of sword-leaved. It's a lovely setting. I'm not a big fan of Helleborines, but there's a certain grace and charm about these, particularly in this sort of numbers, in this woodland setting. Very good. A nice large specimen. Huge numbers, absolutely huge numbers, disappearing into the distance. As I said earlier, estimated to be well over 3,000 sword-leaved Helleborines here, and that's a bigger number than at any site anywhere in the country. So there, and another one here. That's not a sword-leaved Helleborine. That is a white Helleborine. You see the much rounder leaves. The flowers don't like opening. Nothing like as graceful as the sword leaf, but it's good to see one. Actually, there's a patch of them here, so at least it suggests there could be a hybrid, but I've not seen one so far. But it's good to see a white. Shuffle over to one of the others in a sec. There you go, there's about 6 of them in this patch. I should look hard for Helleborine hybrids around here. I don't think I'm going to get one, but you never know. Sword-leaved, sword-leaved, sword-leaved. White. So they're growing next to each other. Yeah, these are definitely whites. Quite big ones as well. Always tough to see the flowers on these because they really just don't open. You just get a slight peep of the yellow on the inside. That's about as good as you get for most of them, unless you're lucky. So the biggest white Helleborine seen so far. A real clonker. Just got up from shooting that white Helleborine. There's something just glowing in the sun over there, and I've lost it again now. Where was it? There it is, in the foreground. You see him? Right in the centre of the picture. There's one there, and there's a couple behind, or at least one behind. Bird's nest orchids. Let's go see. Oh, there's a whole group of them. Excellent stuff. It's a wonderful group of heaven knows how many bird's nest orchid stalks. Never seen anything like that before. Up Peterborough way. Great to see. There's quite a few in this little area. That's number 9. I've counted 9 now. This one fully open. Number 10 on the left, and little number 11 bottom right. 11 bird's nest orchids. I think that's probably more bird's nest orchids than I've seen in my life prior to today. And these are all within a sort of 10-foot square of one another. Brilliant stuff. Very good, very pleased with that. Sword-leaved Helleborine by the bucket load. Quite a lot of white Helleborine as well. And that fantastic group of bird's nest orchids. Those are the 3 I wanted to see here. In fact, probably one more. I wasn't sure I was going to see any white Helleborine, so but I got my main 2, the sword leaves and the bird's nest. So Chappetts Copse, yeah, absolutely fantastic collection of Helleborine for sure, and well worth a trip. I've got one more in this neck of the woods, so I'm going to roll onto that one as well. I think it's called Galley Down Wood. It's somewhere nearby, and I do not have a clue what is there, but it's a triple bill, and we'll head off there, and I'll see you there shortly. Welcome to Galley Down Wood. Galley Down Wood has got bird's nest orchids, and more bird's nest orchids, and even more bird's nest orchids. Never quite like it when somebody says you can't possibly miss these, because I can miss anything. But I'm assured that these are going to be here in number, so I'm reasonably confident but a bit nervous. Still no bird's nest orchids, not one. It's going to happen, it's going to happen, totally confident. Gotta get my eye in. Not a bird's nest orchid. White Helleborine on its way. Who needs bird's nest orchids? White Helleborines, quite a few of them dotted around. There you go, bingo, saved. Well, we found one or two if you count his sidekick to the left. I was told as soon as you see your first one or two, they'll start turning up in numbers. So bring it on. Interesting clump of bird's nest orchids in fine condition. And there's a couple at the front here, but there are, I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but there are loads dotted around behind it. Probably about 10 in total. Still lots of white Helleborine around. Must have seen 50 or 60, I think it's a lot more as well. I'll scramble through the woods and get off the path. Yeah, there's plenty of bird's nest orchids in here. Plenty. A lovely translucent specimen, and in the background there's 3 or 4 more. Absolutely loads of them, dozens of them in the woods. Plenty of large white Helleborine. Am I allowed to get bored of bird's nest orchids? There really is a lot in these woods. I think I'm going to have to call it a day. It's a pity they don't do variations of some sort, but they don't. Okay, must escape now. Huge numbers of bird's nest orchids matched with huge numbers of white Helleborine. A lovely combo in a lovely wood, a Galley down wood. If you're ever in this part of the world at this time of year and you don't see too many bird's nest orchids like me, this is the place to go to get your therapy. Really good. Okay, I said I was only going to do 3 in this video. I'm going to do 4 because I've got one more in Hampshire that I intended to do. I've got to try and find Southampton Common. I'm not far from Southampton. I want to find Southampton Common because they have Heath spotted orchids, and I love Heath spotted orchids if I can find them. And if I'm very lucky, there's another one of my bucket list must see orchids. I won't say any more than that, but it's at Southampton Common if I can find it and if it's there. So I shall see you in a few moments somewhere near Southampton. Welcome to Southampton Common, I think. I'm told we got across a busy road, so doesn't look very orchid-like here, but we'll have a look. Go. Whew. Now where? Seems a bit woody for Heath spotted orchids. We need some grass. Anyone know where we are? Help, I'm lost. Right, I'm assured it's over here. Lady says there's orchids in here, so there's orchids in here. I don't see them. Ah, some tiddlers, no doubt. He's spotted. He's spotted orchid. Now, any chance of me finding my extra special bucket list flower? Orchid, gem. Always little tiddlers, these Heath spotted, wherever you find them. Twins. I don't know whether to call this one as the one I'm looking for or not. It's I'm looking for what's known as the concolor variation, which is like the rhodochilla in common spotted. The concolor is equivalent in Heath spotted. Certainly it's not the subtle spots you would expect. It's quite blotchy. It's not as good as I've seen these concolors before, but I suspect this is it, and if it isn't, it's probably as close as I'm going to get to it. It's a very nice Heath spotted orchid, but whether it is or isn't what I'm looking for, I don't really know. Good to see it though, it's nice. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Dactylorhiza maculata concolor, I believe. If not, I'll stick it on the screen. Yeah, lovely. I think this very same flower, or a very similar one in the past, has been almost fully block purple across the flower, whereas this one isn't, but it's about 80%, so whatever people want to call it, I don't really care. That's the orchid that I wanted. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the world tour of Somewhere Down South. We're in Wiltshire today, starting off, well, we've got 3 sites today. Not too much I know about any of them really. This is Lower Moor Farm, and there's 2 or 3 fields here that have been recorded as having orchids on social media, so, and nothing too special, but it just sounds an interesting site, so I'm going to have a wander. And it's going to rain. Seriously, rain today, so I'm quite looking forward to that. It has rained already, and I think there's more to come, and let's face it, the orchids need it, so bring it on. Promising field, Lower Moor Farm. There's so many fields with so many different names. I think this looks like it might have been a good early purple field at some point. From the old rusting wrecks of this season's early purples. Might find one that's still going. Nothing much in that field. Few decaying old early purples, that was it. We move on to the next one. It's a big field, that's for sure. Needle in a haystack, anyone? We got an orchid. It's a green-winged orchid. Well, at least we're up and running. Try another field. Lovely meadows, but absolutely nothing. I'd even get excited if I found a dead orchid, to be honest with you. And this field is called 11 acres. This is supposedly just about the best field in terms of orchids. This is the field that actually once had burnt tip orchids in. And I stress I'm not expecting to find any, but I can't find any orchids at all at the moment. None whatsoever. Running out of fields now. I think this is the last one coming up to save the day, he said, hopefully. I'd settle for a kingfisher. See any colour. Let's have a quick ramble. Holy cow. Holy cow. An orchid. Even two orchids. You are kidding me. An orchid. It's an orchid. And it's a common spotted orchid. I think that's the first one we've seen on this tour, so yeah. Brilliant. Happy with that. And there's another one next door, just bear with me. Another common spotted. Oh, there you go. Got to stick around a bit now. I'm on a patch. Yeah, they're all dead by the looks, but they were something once. Green-winged X. Green-winged orchid hanging on. I'm desperate, I'll take anything. As you can see, this is Clattinger Farm field, if my map reading serves me right, and there's a lot of gone over green-winged orchids here, so in fairness to the place, if you'd have come here 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, this would actually be a very decent visit. There's a lot of green wings here. It's a struggle to find any still worth videoing, but there's enough carcasses to suggest it would have been a well worthwhile visit a month ago. That's actually quite nice. Give it its dues, the one at the bottom. That's very decent, very decent. I like that. Another nice one. That was quite good. Quite an exciting ending. Not quite good enough to run around the field like a lunatic, but yeah, pretty decent. After slogging around for 6 kilometres in total, and finding nothing more than a rancid old early purple and green winged orchid, it was good to find a couple of common spotteds and quite a few, well, a lot of old green winged orchids, some of which are still hanging on. So it just about saved itself, this place. I'm not sure I'll rush back, but I can imagine in sort of peak green winged orchid season this would be a fantastic field. This one, 'cause it's only this field, would be a fantastic field to visit. But yeah, I'm pleased we found something, and stops it being a completely wasted trip. And it hasn't rained, and I said it would. In fact, the sun's been out most of the time, but it's going to rain sometime today is what they said. Moving on after this one to a place near Stroud. Not sure what to expect there, other than the third out of 3 of my bucket list. Really desperately want to see a complete wow factor orchid. Lurks at this site, and I know roughly where it is, so you know, fingers crossed I'm going to find it and complete a complete set of 3 out of 3 bucket list orchids. So that's where we're going to rush on to after I've had a cup of tea at the cafe here, and I will see you there. Welcome to a windswept Selsley Common. I know nothing about Selsley Common in terms of I've never been here before, but it's a location that might hold, should hold, will hold the third of my bucket list orchids if I can find it. I don't know what else it might hold actually. There are supposed to be orchids here, but I don't know what they are. So I'm going to try and find the one I've come here for first and get that ticked off, and then we'll have a wander and see what we can find. So much for the rain that was forecast, although they did say showers will pop up from nowhere and be very heavy. So I don't know, I daren't tempt fate by saying it's blue sky and nothing's going to happen. Something could happen, but it's going well at this rate. I shall complete at least 2 of my 3 site visits without getting drowned. Can't complain. Some spectacular views up here on the common. On a glorious afternoon. Another fantastic view out towards the Severn estuary in the distance. I've got a feeling if I slip here and start rolling, I won't stop till I reach those houses. It's quite steep. But I think I'm on the right track. I think it's yeah, it's somewhere down this slope. This is not easy. This bank is supposed to be a good fly orchid spot. That's what I was told. Haven't seen one yet, but you know how difficult they are to see, so need to get my eye in on one somewhere. Oh, I've got one. Got one. A Selsley Common fly orchid. Very nice. Hopefully we'll find a few more if I don't fall down the bank. Starting to brown off. They actually look quite nice when they start browning off. Gives that sort of, don't know what you describe it as, almost an orangey brown colour. but it's just going over now. A little tiddler, number 3. There's a whole group of them here, 2 side by side. And then there's another pair over here. Parent, child. That could be it. That could be it. Yep, that's it. There you go. Bucket list orchid number 3. That is a fly orchid crossed with a bee orchid. You see the pink sepals, I think they're called, at the back. Typical bee orchid, and obviously the flower distinctly fly orchid. Probably not described that very well, but that is a fly bee, as some call them. You don't see many of these. Fly orchid, cross bee orchid. Very nice. Just been looking at this one, a little bit suspicious. I thought it's going over a little. Well, it is going over a wee bit. But those sepals at the back are not green as such. They are, I don't know. Is it me? I'm thinking this is a lesser form of the bee orchid, fly orchid. I might be wrong. I'm going to have a closer look at this when I get home. That could be another one. Not as good as the first one we saw, but that could be a second fly bee to be further investigated. Can't get over the views down here. Stunning location. Well, I'm going to have a wander along one of these paths along the side of the slope, as opposed to going up and down. See if we can find some more fly orchids. Heaven, a seat. I need that more than I need an orchid. Hallelujah. Oh. Well, I went about 100 yards left and about 100 yards right, right down to the bottom of the hill, and then clambered all the way back up to here. Didn't see another fly orchid, so they all seem to be grouped around that bush that's about 2/3 of the way down the slope for some reason, but they're hard to see, so they could have been there and I just didn't see them. But absolutely delighted to see my bucket list fly bee, fly orchid cross bee orchid. Absolutely delighted. That's 3 out of 3 for this tour, and thrilled to bits. Can't find anything else actually. I found one browned off early purple orchid, and that's the only sign of orchid life beyond the fly orchids, so it's a fly orchid site. I'm sure there's others here, I mean non-fly orchids here if I know where to look, but it's a huge site, and I'm not going to go wandering, so I've seen what I've come here for. And I've got one more site to go to, which is somewhere quite nearby, so It's just a general site that I know nothing about, apart from it appeared in an orchid book about 25 years ago, and at that time there were burnt tip orchids there, and there's no chance, I would say, of seeing one, but you never know. And it's a limestone grassland hill in the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to go and have a look, see if there's anything there. You just never know. So I will see you there very shortly. Welcome to Swifts Hill. Well, we're not at Swifts Hill yet. It's one hell of a place to get to, so I've had to park about a mile away, and I'm trekking across now to the footpath to Swifts Hill. So it's a bit of a long one, which I could do without, but yeah, why Swifts Hill? Well, it was in an old book. It's a limestone grassland hill, sort of in the middle of nowhere, very hard to get to, and I figured, well, I'll go and have a look. If it's limestone grassland, it can't be too bad. It did 20 odd years ago have burnt tip orchids, so do not expect that today. But if they grow there, or have grown there, it must be reasonably good. And if you haven't realised, it is raining. I knew it would happen. Really? Anyone see a circus? Nope, no circus. We'll bump into an elephant in a minute. We're back to a glorious afternoon. The rain shower lasted about 2 minutes. Enough to get me slightly wet, but that was it. Could do with some more of that. Preferably not today. I've just realised we're coming out onto the top of Swifts Hill. I probably need to be down there, but I ain't scrambling down there, that's for sure. We'll find a way. Another fantastic view from the top of Swifts Hill. Right, I've got to go down. Not seeing anything so far. Got a horrible feeling I'm not going to see one single orchid, having made the long trek to get here, but you've got to try. Got to try. I scrambled down to the middle footpath and not seeing anything. There's a lower path I might jump on and come back, but it's not looking promising. I'll tell you what, in the shelter of this hill, it is very warm and very humid. You can see why thunderstorms might break out. I wouldn't mind if one did, to be honest. It's pretty warm. No orchids. Swift Hill is devoid of orchids. I actually found it in a copy of Harrops at lunchtime. I was eating my lunch. It is actually listed. I mean, that book's been around a bit now, so that's still quite old. They list it under a different name with Swift Hill in brackets, and they listed the sort of orchids you can find here, including burnt tip. But there's nothing here. There's not even any browned off stalks from last season, so whether it's the drought, I haven't got a clue. All I know is that there doesn't appear to be anything here at all, so bit of a blank. Nice place, and a pleasant if hard walk to get here as well. Yeah, if you're going to come at this time of year, I wouldn't recommend adding this to your list of venues to visit. So that's it for day 2. It's not been a bad day. The main thing for me was to see that fly bee cross, and we got that one. So everything else was always going to be a bonus. So seen some new sights. That's the main thing, and yeah, that's it. I'm heading back to the hotel now, or off to the hotel, and tomorrow's heading home, but I will be stopping on the way. So there's at least one site somewhere near to the hotel I'm stopping at, and there may be a second one. I shall go to bed with Harrops tonight, see if I can find another site on the way back home. So we're not finished yet, but that's the end of day 2. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, hope to see you on the next one.